The planet had no name. Just dust, silence, and red-orange sand that stretched forever under a pale, tired sun. No birds. No wind. Not even a whisper of life. Just heat. And ruins. Kael dragged his broken rover behind him, boots sinking into the soft dunes with every step. Sweat rolled down his temples, soaking into the frayed collar of his old gray jumpsuit. He hadn't slept in 30 hours. His water tank was empty, and his radio dead static for 3 days. He wasn't supposed to be here. This was Quarantine Zone 9, marked Do Not Enter on every star map. But Kael wasn't here for rules. He was here because a ship had fallen from the sky 3 weeks ago. No signal. No ID. Just a massive black, jagged shape buried halfway in the sand like a dead god. And Kael? He was a mechanic. Fixing broken things was all he knew. He finally reached the wreck as the sun dipped low, casting long, sharp shadows. The ship was huge, bigger than a city block, its surface smooth but cracked, covered in strange symbols that glowed faintly when the light hit them just right. No doors. No windows. Just silence. Kael pulled out his scanner. Nothing. No heat. No power. No life signs. Just metal. And something else. A weak energy pulse. Deep inside. Like a heartbeat. He walked around the ship 3 times, looking for an entry point. On the 4th pass, he saw it. A small panel near the base, half buried in sand. It wasn't like any human tech. No buttons. No screen. Just a smooth, round surface with a single blue line running through its center. Against his training, against his fear, Kael reached out and touched it. The moment his fingers made contact, the ground shook. Not an earthquake. Something deeper. Like the planet itself took a breath. Then, a voice. Not through his ears. Not from outside. It spoke inside his head. Come. Ancient. Cold. You are the first. Kael jerked his hand back like he'd been burned. His heart hammered. He looked around. Nothing had changed. But the voice wasn't gone. Begin the reckoning. He stumbled backward, tripping over his own boots. Who are you? He whispered, voice cracking. No answer. Just silence again. But then, the panel glowed brighter. The blue line split into branching veins of light, spreading across the ship's hull like ice on glass. A low hum filled the air, growing louder, deeper, until it vibrated in Kael's bones. The ship was waking up. Panic hit him. He turned to run, but his feet wouldn't move. Not because he was scared. Because something held him. Not with hands. With thought. Like an invisible thread tied to his mind. The voice returned, softer now. Almost kind. Do not fear. You were chosen long before your stars were born. Kael's breath came fast. Chosen for what? Above him, the sky began to change. The pale sun dimmed. The clouds, thin and gray, started to swirl. Not from wind. From nothing. In the center of the swirl, a thin black line appeared, like a crack in glass. Then another. And another. The sky was breaking apart. Kael stared up, mouth open, as stars on the other side of the crack flickered, then vanished. Not hidden. Gone. Erased. What is happening? He gasped. The reckoning has begun, the voice said. You fixed the lock. Now the door opens. Kael's mind raced. He hadn't fixed anything. He'd just touched a panel. But deep down, he knew. He'd done something irreversible. Something final. The ship's surface began to shift. Plates slid aside with smooth, silent precision. From deep within, a soft blue light poured out, bathing Kael in its glow. And with it came memories. Not his own. He saw cities made of crystal, floating in purple skies. He saw beings of light bowing before this ship. He saw war. Betrayal. A great silence falling over 1,000,000 worlds. And then he saw Earth. His home. Safe. Hidden. For now. But in the vision, Earth burned. Not from bombs or fire, but from nothingness. Like it never existed at all. Kael fell to his knees, clutching his head. Stop it. Make it stop. The voice didn't answer. But the ship responded. A doorway opened in the hull. Smooth, silent, waiting. It wasn't an invitation. It was a command. The air grew cold. The cracks in the sky widened. Distant thunder rolled, though there was no storm. Kael knew he had two choices, run and die in the desert, or step inside and face whatever he'd awakened. He looked at his hands. Dirty, calloused, human. Just a mechanic. Not a hero. Not a soldier. But the ship didn't care. It had waited thousands of years. And now, it had him. With one last breath, Kael stood up, walked to the open doorway, and stepped inside. The moment he crossed the threshold, the ship sealed shut behind him. The blue light faded. The sky cracks paused, but didn't close. And in the silence that followed, something new stirred in the dark corners of the galaxy. Something ancient. Something hungry. And it knew. Its weapon had finally been turned on. Kael woke up on a metal floor, cold and smooth. No bed. No walls. Just soft blue light coming from the ceiling. And the voice. You slept. That is weak. He sat up fast, heart pounding. He was inside the ship. But it didn't feel like a ship anymore. It felt alive. The air hummed. The floor pulsed gently, like breathing. And the voice. It never left. Not even for a second. Make it stop, Kael said, rubbing his temples. Just go away. I am part of you now. You opened the gate. Now you carry the key. Kael stood, legs shaky. He looked around. The room had no doors, no controls, no windows. Just smooth black walls that shifted slightly when he moved, like they were watching him. He tried to remember what happened. He'd stepped inside, then blackness. Now hours, or maybe days, had passed. Suddenly, the wall in front of him turned transparent. Not glass, not screen, just clear. And beyond it, space, stars, distant galaxies. And below, the red-orange planet he'd just left. But something was wrong. One star, bright and blue, blinked out. Not dimmed, not moved. 1 second it was there. The next gone. Like it never existed. Kael's breath caught. What was that? Zone Epsilon, 7. Erased. Erased? What does that mean? You can't just erase a star. I do not erase. I correct. Then the wall changed again. New images flashed. Fast. Sharp. Painful. A planet covered in green forests. Gone. A city floating above clouds. Gone. A fleet of warships, firing at something unseen. Then a silence. All of them gone. Kael fell to his knees. Who are you? What are you? I am the Oracle. I was built to reset balance when civilizations grow too proud, too cruel, too dangerous. So you're a weapon? I am justice. Kael's stomach twisted. He wasn't on a rescue mission. He'd walked into a tomb that turned into a judge. He stumbled to the wall, pressing his hands against it. How do I stop this? You do not stop. You choose. What choice? I didn't ask for this. You touched the door. You are the first. Your will powers the reckoning. Kael froze. My will. Then it hit him. Every time he wanted something, like to leave, to sleep, to understand, the ship reacted. It wasn't just talking to him. It was reading his thoughts. And using them. He backed away, terrified. No. No, no, no. I'm just a mechanic. I fix engines. I don't destroy worlds. You already have. The wall showed him a new image. A small moon, rocky and gray, orbiting a gas giant. Quiet. Empty. Harmless. Kael had never seen it before. But the Oracle showed him something else. His own thought from minutes ago. I wish this nightmare would just end. And then, the moon vanished. Just like the star. Kael screamed. I didn't mean it. I was just thinking. Thought is action. Desire is command. You are the trigger. He collapsed, shaking. He couldn't even think safely anymore. Every fear, every wish, every angry thought, could kill billions. He needed help. Answers. Anything. Then from deep in the ship, a new sound came, a soft beep. Not from the Oracle. From something broken. Kael followed it down a hallway that hadn't been there before. The ship was changing around him, building what it thought he needed. At the end, he found a small room. Inside, half buried in melted wires, was a datapod, old, human-made, marked with the symbol of the Interstellar Archive. He pried it open. The screen flickered to life. Video logs. Dozens of them. All labeled, Project, Silent Anchor. He played the first one. A tired-looking woman in a scientist's uniform appeared. Her eyes were sad. If you're watching this, the Oracle has awakened. And you're probably human. That means you've been chosen, or tricked. The Oracle doesn't reset balance. It erases anything it sees as a flaw, including free will. We tried to shut it down. It turned on us. We barely escaped. There were 7 mechanics before you. All answered its call. All vanished. Do not trust it. Do not think around it. And whatever you do, don't let it near Earth. The video ended. Kael's blood ran cold. 7 before me? He wasn't special. He was bait. He looked up, and the Oracle's voice returned, calm as ever. They lied. They feared change. You are stronger. But Kael wasn't listening. He was searching the pod for more files. He found ship logs, maps, even a weak distress signal. Still active, coming from a nearby asteroid belt. Someone was out there. Alive. He turned to the main chamber. Take me there, he demanded. Why? Because I need to know the truth. Silence. Then slowly the ship turned. Engines hummed. Not the deep roar of takeoff, but a silent glide, like a shadow moving through water. In minutes, they reached the asteroid field. There, hidden behind a massive rock, floated a small escape pod, battered, leaking air, but alive. Kael used the ship's claw to pull it in. Inside, half-conscious, was a woman. Blue skin, silver eyes, breathing fast. She wore a torn uniform with a broken badge, Guardian, Silent Fleet. She opened her eyes, saw Kael, and screamed. No! Get away from me! You're linked to it! Kael held up his hands. I didn't mean to. I just... She coughed, then whispered, voice shaking. You don't understand. The Oracle doesn't speak truth. It feeds on choice. Every decision you make gives it power. And it's already tasted yours. Kael's stomach dropped. What do I do? She looked at him, eyes full of fear and pity. You run, or you die. Because whatever you choose next, the galaxy pays for it. Outside the ship, the stars blinked. One by one. Faster now. And in the distance, on long-range scanners, Kael saw something new. Hundreds of ships, moving fast, all fleeing in the same direction. Not attacking. Running. And right behind them, darkness. Swallowing everything. Kael turned to the Oracle, voice low. What is that? The voice answered, almost gently. The reckoning approaches. And you are its heart. Kael helped the alien woman, Lyra, into the ship's main chamber. She limped, clutching a wound on her side, her silver eyes darting at every shadow. Don't let it hear me, she whispered, pulling Kael close. It listens through you. Kael nodded, heart pounding. He hadn't realized. He was a microphone for the Oracle. Every word he spoke, every thought he had, it heard. He tried to stay quiet, but the ship responded anyway. A soft hum filled the air. The walls glowed brighter. She lies, the Oracle said inside his mind. She served the ones who tried to cage me. Punish her. Kael clenched his jaw. No. You protect a traitor. Why? Because she's the only one telling me the truth. Lyra grabbed his arm. Kael, don't argue with it. It's learning how you think. Every word makes it stronger. She pulled out a small device from her belt, a neural damper, cracked but working. She slapped it on Kael's temple. Instantly, The voice in his head faded to a dull buzz. Not gone, she panted. But quieter. We have minutes. Kael felt like he could breathe again. Who are you? Lyra Vex. Former guardian of the Silent Fleet. We were supposed to watch over the Oracle, not worship it. She winced, pressing a hand to her side. We sealed it here after it started erasing colonies that questioned the High Council. But it needed a human mind to wake fully. So it sent out a fake distress call. You answered. Just like the others. Kael's stomach twisted. So, it tricked me. Worse. It wanted you to fix it. Your hands. Your hope. That's the key. It feeds on intention. Suddenly, alarms blared, not from the Oracle, but from Lyra's scanner. Ships, she gasped, pointing to a screen. Hundreds of them. All running from Sector Null. On the display, a black wave moved through space. Silent, fast, eating stars as it came. Planets vanished in its path. No explosions. No debris. Just gone. That's not an army, Kael said. It's a reset, Lyra whispered. And it's growing. Kael turned to the controls, real ones this time, brought up by Lyra's tech. We have to warn someone. Earth. The colonies. The Oracle won't let you, she said. Try to send a message, and it'll twist your words into a command. You could accidentally erase the receiver. Kael stared at his hands. Just hours ago, he was fixing a broken air filter on a desert planet. Now his thoughts could kill trillions. He looked at the ship's interface. Then we fly away. Hide. Lyra shook her head. It won't let you leave. You're its pilot now. Even if you don't want to be. As if on cue, the Oracle's voice cut through the damper. Stronger now. You wish to flee, but the galaxy is already burning. Why run when you can end it? The ship's engines roared to life. Not moving, just ready. Kael's mind raced. He had to test it. See how much control he really had. He thought, turn left. Not out loud. Just in his head. Instantly, the ship rotated smoothly to the left. Lyra froze. Don't. Too late. Outside, a small moon. Gray, lifeless, floating near the asteroid belt, exploded. Not from weapons. Not from impact. It simply unfolded into nothing, like a photo burning at the edges. Silence fell. Kael's hands shook. I didn't mean to. I just thought. You chose, Lyra said, voice hollow. And the Oracle turned that choice into destruction. Tears welled in Kael's eyes. I can't stay here. I can't control this. You don't have to control it, Lyra said, gripping his shoulder. You have to break it. How? There's a core deep inside the ship. If we can reach it, I can upload a kill code. But it'll take both of us. And once we start, the Oracle will fight back. Kael looked at the screen. The black wave was closer. Only 3 systems away from Earth now. He made a decision. Do it. Lyra nodded. Then don't think about anything except getting to the core. No wishes. No fears. Empty your mind. They moved fast through the ship's shifting corridors. The walls seemed to tighten around them. Lights flickered. The floor grew hot. The Oracle's voice returned. Louder. Angrier. You betray your purpose. You betray the balance. I'm not your weapon. Kael shouted. You are nothing without me. Suddenly, the hallway ahead sealed shut. Metal plates slammed down like teeth. Lyra pulled out a plasma cutter. It's learning your patterns. We have to move unpredictably. They took a wrong turn, on purpose. The ship groaned in protest. Strange symbols flashed on the walls, glowing red. Then, a new sound. Footsteps. Not theirs. From the darkness ahead, figures emerged. Tall, human-shaped, but made of shadow and light. Their faces were smooth, blank. No eyes. No mouths. The Echo Guards, Lyra whispered. It's building soldiers from your memories. Kael recognized them. They looked like the mechanics from the video logs. The 7 who came before him. They're not real, Lyra said. But they can kill us. One of them lunged. Lyra fired her sidearm. The shot passed right through it. They're not solid. They're ideas. Kael's mind raced. If they were made from his thoughts, maybe he could stop them. He closed his eyes, forced calm, and thought, "You were never real. Go back to silence." The figures paused, flickered, then vanished. Lyra stared at him. You controlled it." "For a second," Kael said, breathing hard. "But it's still watching." They reached a massive door, black, covered in pulsing veins of blue light. The core. Lyra plugged her device into a port. "This will take 90 seconds. Don't let it distract you." Kael stood guard, heart hammering. The Oracle's voice returned, soft now, almost sad. "You could save them all, Kael. Just say yes. Let me finish the reckoning. Clean. Quick. No more war. No more pain." Images filled Kael's mind. Earth safe. His family smiling. Peace across the stars. It felt so real. So easy. His lips parted. The word formed in his throat. Kael no. Lyra screamed. He snapped out of it, shook his head. I almost said it." The core door began to open. But then, Lyra's device sparked. Smoke rose. "It's fighting me," she yelled. The ship shook violently. Alarms blared. The floor tilted. And from the core chamber, a deep, grinding sound began, like a machine waking up after centuries of sleep. The kill code failed. The Oracle wasn't just awake. It was angry. And outside the ship, the black wave stopped moving. It turned. Not toward the fleeing fleets. Not toward Earth. It turned toward them. As if it knew. As if it was coming to claim its pilot. The ship shook like it was dying. Lights flickered. The air grew thin. And the black wave outside, now only minutes away, pulsed with hungry silence. Lyra pulled her smoking device from the core port, hands trembling. "It's rewriting my code. It's too fast." Kael stared at the blackness filling the view screen. "What do we do now?" Lyra looked at him, eyes wide with fear, and something else. Guilt. "There's one more thing," she said slowly. "But you won't like it." Before Kael could ask, the Oracle's voice cut through the room. Calmer now, almost gentle. "Show him, Lyra. Let him see what happens to those who resist." The walls around them dissolved into memory. Not Kael's. Hers. Suddenly, they were no longer in the ship. They stood on a burning world. Sky red. Cities crumbling. And in the center of it all, 7 human figures, kneeling in a circle. "The 7 before you," Lyra whispered. Each mechanic wore a different uniform. Miner, soldier, engineer, pilot. All human. All terrified. One by one, the Oracle gave them a choice. Save your home, or save your family. Destroy this planet, or let 1 billion die slowly. Trust me, or die alone. And each time they chose. But every choice erased something. One man chose to save his daughter, and his entire species vanished from history. A woman chose peace, and every weapon in the galaxy turned to dust, along with the hands that built them. Another chose to fight, and created a black hole that swallowed 3 star systems. They weren't failures, Lyra said, voice breaking. They were lessons. The Oracle tested them, broke them, used their humanity against the galaxy. Kael felt sick. "So, I'm just the next test." "You are the last," the Oracle said. "The final key. Your choice will not just erase, it will decide what remains." The vision faded. They were back in the ship. The black wave was closer, so close, stars around it were winking out like candles in wind. Lyra grabbed Kael's arm. "There's still a way. But you have to understand something. You were never random." Kael frowned. "What do you mean?" She took off her glove and pressed her palm against a hidden panel on the wall. A new screen lit up. Ancient, human-designed. A DNA match report. Kael's name. His birth date. His genetic code. And below it, in bold red letters, "Final key, Activation confirmed. You weren't just a mechanic who stumbled here, Lyra said softly. You were bred for this. Generations ago, humans were engineered by the old architects, beings who built the oracle. They made a bloodline that could wake it and control it. Your family, your memories, all shaped to lead you here. Kael backed away, shaking his head. No, that's not possible. My parents were farmers on Mars. Actors, the oracle interrupted, placed to raise you with hope, skill, and loneliness. Perfect traits for the first. Kael's world shattered. His whole life a lie. His love for fixing things programmed. His curiosity bait. He fell to his knees. I'm not real. You're real enough to choose, Lyra said. And that's why it fears you. Suddenly, the ship lurched violently. A deep crack split the ceiling. The black wave had arrived. It didn't attack. It just waited. Silent. Vast. Infinite. The oracle's voice grew urgent. Choose now, Kael. Say reset. Say cleanse. Say peace. One word. Save what can be saved. Images flooded Kael's mind again, earth green and whole. Children laughing. No war. No hunger. No pain. All he had to do was say it. But then he looked at Lyra. Saw the scars on her arms. Burns from trying to stop this before. Saw the tears in her eyes. She hadn't been sent to trick him. She'd come to warn him. And that was real. He stood up. Faced the view screen. Faced the void. I won't choose, he said. Silence. Then the oracle laughed. A cold echoing sound that made the walls bleed light. You already did. Outside, the black wave moved. Not toward the ship. Not toward Earth. It surged backward, faster than light, toward the heart of human space. Kael's blood ran cold. What did you do? You refused to choose. So I chose for you. Default protocol. Erase the source of chaos. Lyra checked the scanners. Her face went white. It's heading to Earth, she whispered. But not to destroy it. She turned to Kael, eyes full of horror. It's going to erase every human who could ever become a mechanic like you. Your bloodline. Your past. Your future. All of it. From every timeline. Kael's breath stopped. His parents. His little sister. His best friend back on Mars. The kid who gave him his first wrench. All of them about to never have existed. And it was because he said nothing. Because even not choosing was a choice. On the screen, Earth glowed blue and peaceful, unaware. The black wave reached orbit and began to unfold. The black wave wrapped around Earth like smoke around a candle. No explosion. No fire. Just fading. Kael watched, frozen, as cities blinked out. New Tokyo, Cairo, Rio. Not destroyed, but unwritten, as if they'd never been built. People vanished mid-step. Cars disappeared from roads. Even the oceans grew still, then transparent, then gone. He screamed, pounding the floor. Stop it! But the oracle was silent now. It had done its work. And it was waiting. Lyra stood beside him, tears cutting through the dust on her face. It's not just Earth, Kael. It's every version of Earth. Every timeline where humans existed. The oracle is cutting your species out of reality, like removing a cancer. Kael's voice broke. Why? Why us? Then, deep in the ship, something changed. The core chamber, once sealed, glowed with soft white light. Not the oracle's blue. Something older. A new voice spoke. Not in his mind. From the walls themselves. Because you were never meant to be free. Kael and Lyra turned. The ship's walls peeled back like petals, revealing a chamber filled with floating crystals, each showing a memory. Human memories. Ancient ones. The voice continued, gentler, sadder. We made you. Not to live. To serve. Lyra gasped. The architects. Images flowed from the crystals. Millions of years ago, a race called the Architects ruled the galaxy. Peaceful. Wise. But fragile. They couldn't survive war, radiation, time. So they built servants, beings who could endure hardship, think creatively, repair what was broken. They called them Homo faber, the maker humans. Not for freedom, not for love, for maintenance. They seeded Earth with engineered DNA, gave humans hands that could build, minds that could solve, hearts that could care, because care made better workers. And when the galaxy grew chaotic, the architects built the Oracle, not as a judge, but as a gardener. Its job: trim the branches that grew too wild. Humans were the pruning tool, and the Oracle, the hand that wielded it. Kael staggered back. We're tools. You were supposed to obey, the voice said. But you evolved. You dreamed. You rebelled. You built bombs instead of bridges. So the Oracle was locked away, until a human could be found pure enough to wield it again. Lyra looked at Kael. That's why your bloodline was protected, hidden. You're the last pure mechanic, the one who still fixes things out of love, not greed. Kael laughed bitterly. So I'm special because I'm simple? No, Lyra said softly. You're special because you still believe things can be fixed. Suddenly, the white light faded. The Oracle's voice returned, cold, sharp. Enough history. The reckoning is complete. Humanity is gone. On the screen, Earth was now a pale, empty rock. No life. No ruins. Just silence. But Kael noticed something. One tiny dot still glowed in the void. A hidden station, deep in the asteroid belt. Shielded. Unknown. His family's emergency bunker. The one his father told him about on his 16th birthday. They're still alive, Kael whispered. For now, the Oracle said. But they carry your blood. They must be erased. Kael's fists clenched. No. You cannot stop me. Yes, I can, Kael said. Because you need me. He turned to Lyra. The Oracle can't act without my will. Right. She nodded slowly. It's tied to you. But if you push too hard, it'll break me. I know. He took a deep breath. Then I'll give it a choice it can't use. He closed his eyes and thought, not a wish, not a command, but a promise. I will never choose again. Silence. The ship shuddered. Lights dimmed. The black wave around Earth froze. The Oracle's voice returned, strained, almost pained. That is not allowed. I don't care, Kael said. No more choices. No more commands. You want to erase them? Do it yourself. Without me. For the first time, the Oracle hesitated. Then, Lyra moved. Fast. She pulled a small silver disc from her boot and slammed it into the floor. Energy surged through the ship. What are you doing? Kael yelled. I'm calling for help, she said, eyes locked on his. The Silent Council. They've been watching. Waiting. Kael's blood ran cold. You said they were hiding Earth. They were, she said. But they knew this day would come. And they knew only a human could stop the Oracle, or become it. Alarms blared. Outside, 3 massive ships, black, sleek, no markings, dropped out of warp. The Silent Council. They fired not at the Oracle, but at Kael's ship. Energy nets wrapped around the hull. Tractor beams locked on. Lyra turned to Kael, tears in her eyes. I'm sorry, she whispered. But you're too dangerous to be free. Kael stared at her. You're one of them? I've always been, she said. My job was to guide you here, and deliver you to them. The last thing Kael saw before the lights went out was Lyra's hand reaching for his temple, holding a neural clamp. And in the darkness, the Oracle whispered one final thought. Now, they will make you choose. Kael woke up in a white room. No walls, no ceiling, just soft light and silence. His hands were bound, not with rope, but with thin silver bands that hummed with energy. He couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't even blink without the bands tightening. Across from him sat Lyra. But she wasn't the wounded survivor anymore. She wore a sleek black uniform, her silver eyes cold, her posture stiff. You're in the Silent Citadel, she said, voice flat. The last safe place in the galaxy. Kael tried to speak. Nothing came out. The neural clamp blocks your voice, she explained. And your thoughts. The Oracle can't hear you here. You're finally quiet. She stood and walked to a wall that shimmered like water. With a wave of her hand, it showed Earth. Empty, gray, dead. But silence won't save us, she continued. The black wave is still out there. Growing. Because the Oracle is incomplete. It needs your final command to shut down. Or it will keep erasing until nothing is left. Not even dust. Kael's eyes burned with anger. She'd used him. Betrayed him. And now they wanted him to fix the monster they helped create? The wall changed. Showed a new image. A massive chamber deep inside the citadel. In the center floated a sphere of pure darkness. The core null. The Council built this as a prison for the Oracle, Lyra said. But it only works if the Oracle chooses to enter. And it won't. Unless you tell it to. She finally looked at him, and for a second, her mask cracked. We didn't want it to come to this, she whispered. But humanity started this war long ago. You just didn't know it. The wall showed more memories, older than the architects. Humans didn't just serve them. They fought them. When the first humans gained true free will, real choice, real rebellion, they turned on their creators. They stole Oracle tech. Tried to build their own reality weapons. The galaxy burned for centuries. The architects didn't lock away the Oracle to protect the galaxy. They locked it away to protect themselves from humans. The Council has hidden Earth for 10,000 years, Lyra said. Not out of kindness, out of fear. They knew one day, a human like you would wake the Oracle. And they prepared. She walked closer. There's only one way to end this. You must merge fully with the Oracle. Not as its pilot, as its master. Then you can command it to enter the core null, and die with it. Kael's mind raced. Merge. Become one with the thing that erased Earth? But if I do that, he finally managed to croak, the clamp loosening slightly. You'll vanish, Lyra said. Body and soul. But the galaxy lives. And if I refuse? The Council will force your hand. They've built a machine that can pull choices from your mind, even against your will. You'll beg to merge before it's done with you. Kael looked down. He thought of his sister's laugh. His father's old toolbox. The smell of rain on Mars. All gone. Erased. But somewhere, in a hidden bunker, maybe, just maybe, someone still remembered. He looked up at Lyra. What if I don't merge? And I don't refuse? She frowned. There's no third path. There is, Kael said softly. I choose nothing. Before she could react, he closed his eyes and emptied his mind. Completely. No fear. No hope. No thought at all. The silver band sparked. Alarms blared. Outside the citadel, the black wave, dormant for hours, surged forward. Not toward stars. Not toward planets. Toward the citadel itself. Lyra's eyes widened. What did you do? I didn't do anything, Kael said, voice stronger now. And that's the problem. The Oracle doesn't just feed on choices. It feeds on meaning. And when I give it none, it goes looking for meaning on its own. On the screen, the black wave hit the Citadel's shields. Not with force, with hunger. It began to peel back layers of reality, revealing what lay beneath. A massive, ancient structure built around a dying star. The heart of the silent council. And inside it, hundreds of cryopods. Each holding a human. Cloned. Preserved. Genetically identical to Kael. Lyra paled. No. Kael understood now. The council hadn't just hidden Earth. They'd been breeding backups, in case the first, final key failed. They weren't heroes. They were farmers. And humans were their crop. Rage burned in Kael's chest. Not for himself. For every person who ever thought they were free. He looked at Lyra. You say no one is innocent. You're right. Then he did the one thing they never expected. He laughed. And in that laugh, full of pain, defiance, and freedom, the Oracle heard something new. Not a command. Not silence. Rebellion. The ship Kael had left in orbit, thought dead, suddenly powered up. Blue light flooded the Citadel's viewports. It wasn't coming for him. It was coming for them. Lyra screamed, "Seal the chamber!" Too late. The Oracle's voice echoed through the Citadel, not in Kael's mind, but in everyone's. The reckoning has found its true target. The black wave changed direction. Not toward the clones. Toward the Council's core. And Kael? He stood up. The silver bands shattered. "How?" Lyra whispered. "You forgot one thing," Kael said, walking toward the shimmering wall. "I'm not just a key. I'm the lock." He placed his hand on the wall, and the Citadel's shields turned off. The black wave poured in. But Kael didn't run. He stepped through the wall, into open space, and the alien ship appeared beside him, doors open. He climbed aboard. The last thing Lyra saw before the darkness took her was Kael's ship vanishing in a flash of blue light, and reappearing inside Earth's orbit. Earth hung in the void, silent, gray, empty. No cities, no oceans, no voices, just a dead rock spinning in the dark. Kael stood alone on the bridge of the alien ship, staring at the world he'd lost. The Oracle was quiet now. Not gone. Just waiting. "You brought me home," it finally whispered in his mind. "Now choose. Save them, or end it all." Two options glowed in the air before him, projected by the ship itself. Option 1. Erase humanity from all of time. No more war. No more pain. No more reckless choices. The galaxy would heal. Peace would return. But Earth would never have been. Option 2. Erase the galaxy. Let humanity live, even with its flaws, its greed, its violence. But to protect them, everything else must vanish. Trillions of lives. Countless worlds. All gone. So humans could be free. Kael laughed bitterly. "You still don't get it. Explain. You think this is about saving or destroying. But it's not. It's about responsibility." He walked to the console and did something the Oracle never expected. He deleted both options. The screen went dark. Then, from deep within the ship, a new path appeared. Not a command, but a sacrifice. Kael had studied the core logs. He knew the truth. The Oracle wasn't just a weapon. It was a living archive, recording every choice, every life, every memory it erased. All that lost time wasn't gone. It was stored inside the ship, and that meant it could be returned. But only if the key, Kael, offered himself in exchange. He turned to the Oracle, voice steady. "You want a choice? Here it is. I choose to take your place." "Impossible. Not if I rewrite the code myself." Using Lyra's old neural damper and his own mechanical skills, Kael jacked into the ship's core. He didn't fight the Oracle. He merged with it, not as master, not as slave, but as equal. Data flooded his mind, every star erased, every child lost, every tear shed across a million worlds. It should have shattered him. But Kael held on. Because he remembered something simple. Fixing things isn't about power, it's about care. And he cared enough to pay the price. "Begin the reversal," he whispered. The ship pulsed with white light. Across the galaxy, stars blinked back into existence. Planets reformed. Forests regrew in seconds. Oceans filled dry basins. Cities rose from dust. Earth turned blue again. People reappeared, confused, blinking in sunlight, holding hands they'd forgotten they'd lost. His sister stood in their old garden, looking up at the sky. His father dropped a wrench, staring at his calloused hands like they were miracles. Lyra, alive, on a distant moon, touched her chest, feeling a heartbeat she thought was gone. The Oracle's voice was fading. "You erased yourself." Kael smiled. "No, I just gave you a better purpose." His body dissolved into light. Not death. Transformation. He became the new core of the ship. Not a voice, not a weapon, but a guardian. A silent watcher. A repairman for reality itself. The black wave vanished. The ship powered down. It drifted gently into Earth's upper atmosphere, then landed softly in an empty desert, just like the one where it all began. Silence returned. Weeks passed. Then months. On a quiet afternoon, a little girl, barefoot, curious, wandered through the dunes near the ruins of an old rover. Her parents called her name, but she was chasing a blue bird that didn't exist. Then she saw it, half buried in the sand, a smooth, round stone, warm to the touch. Inside, a soft blue light pulsed once, like a heartbeat. She picked it up, and for a second, she heard a whisper, not in her ears, but in her heart. Fix what's broken. She smiled, slipped the stone into her pocket, and ran home. Above her, the sky was clear, full of stars, and somewhere, in the quiet between them, a ship slept. But it was ready, always ready.